In this video, we'll show how you can add a file download feature to a Dialog component. So you can see here, if I go to live preview, I've got a field here called file name. It's got the name of a file in it, and if I press this button over here, we're going to download the PDF, and then you can see that's the PDF that we've just downloaded. So let's go now and take a look at how easy it was to actually set up this functionality in the Dialog component. So you can see here we just have a simple text box control, and we've set the default value of this to the name of a file, a PDF file that's on my system. Now in order for file download to work, you have to have enabled it in your web project properties. So if you go to web project properties, you can see that only files that meet my specified filter over here can be downloaded, and only files that are in a specified folder. In this case, since this is blank, it's any folder, but in a real app you would really want to tighten this up and only specify certain folders from which you can download. So let's go back again to, say, the download builder there. So then we have a button, and we'll look at what the button does shortly, but first let's take a look at this iframe over here. So you can see that we've put an iframe on the Dialog component, and what we've done is we've set the iframe style to display none. So this is actually a hidden iframe. It can't be seen, and it has an ID of iframe underbar 1. And this is very important because the way in which file download works is actually by setting the source property of the hidden iframe to a URL that contains the instructions for the download. So file download is done in the grid using a built-in feature pack that's not available in the Dialog, but the way that it works in the grid component is that there is a system page that gets published automatically to your web project, and it's called, the system page is called, let me just resize this so it's easier for everyone to see here, is called, so the system page is called underbar a5 file download.a5w, and if you look in your application root, you'll see this file is there. It's always published automatically by Alpha 5 every time you publish. And so if we go and look at the details of this file, you can see that basically on the query string it takes file to download, which is the name of the file that you want to download, and it also takes a variable called C, which has to be set to underbar file download. So knowing that, we can just piggyback on the existing underbar a5 file download.a5w file. If you don't want to piggyback off this file, you can write your own a5w file that simply uses the built-in response.send file method of the application server. But since we don't want to have to rewrite all of this code ourselves, and we don't want to have to go through the hassle of figuring out whether the file is allowed or not allowed, we're going to just piggyback off underbar a5 file download. So let's go back now to our button over here and look at the code. So you can see that the first thing that we're doing is we're reading the value of this file name field over here to get the value of the file name that the user wants to download. Then we're constructing the URL here, so calling the underbar file download page, and then the file to download equals, and then file name over there, and then C equals underbar file download. Then we're getting a pointer to the iframe element using the standard syntax for an element, which is dialog.componentName.v.r1, and then we're simply setting the source property of this hidden iframe to this URL of the file download page. So let's go ahead now and try it out in Firefox. So there we go, and press file download, and you can see up pops the download message. So you can see that it's very easy to add file download. Thanks very much.